On the steps. It is Friday. It is Friday. Thank God it is Friday, 3:30. We are so happy to be back here with you today. This is our weekly podcast where we talk about all things performance athletics related. We talk about racism and equity, sex abuse and prevention, nutrition, psychology, wellness, lifestyle, dance medicine, and science, and all of those things where we answer the burning questions that we all have that make this industry safer, happier for everyone. Our goal is to make safer spaces for our performance athletes, and we've been doing it for 3 years now. This is our last show of this season. This is our last show of this season. We're going on hiatus and getting ready for season 4. So we're super excited to have our guest Marie Morgann here with us today to talk about what is brain health and how does it play a role in youth performance athletics. This is I'm going to say new topic, even though the brain is not a new topic, but making the connection between brain health and performance and just optimal living is definitely a new topic for people in the industry. I think we just lost Marie. Oh, she's back. There we go. She's back. She's back. I am Melissa McDaniel Grisham with Turning Point Dance Creations, and I'm here with my amazing co-host, Bree Zabrowski from Apollo Performance. And without further ado, I would love for Bree to introduce our guest.
Yeah, we're so excited to welcome Marie. Marie is a Franco-American linguist, writer, and educator. She translates and conducts research in 12 languages, ancient and modern, and spent a decade conducting graduate research at the University of Oxford in the United Kingdom. After a lifetime of neurological complications, Marie completed a certification in brain health education with the Amen Clinics in 2018. She currently owns a brain health consultancy to promote brain healthy lifestyle and education, and is writing her first book. Marie, it is such a pleasure to meet you and to have you with us for the very first time on Beyond the Steps. Welcome. You had
to be here.
Oh yeah, it's this is like Melissa said, this is a new exploration for us, and we're so excited to learn from you today. So you've had, I understand, some pretty significant personal experience that has led you to working obviously in this space. So as much as you're comfortable sharing, can you tell us a little bit about your experience and how it led you to consulting on brain health?
Absolutely, yes. So when I was 2 weeks old, I contracted meningitis, which is infection and inflammation of the fluid in the membranes or the meninges surrounding your brain and your spinal cord. And that set me up for a lifetime of neurological complications. They're called complex migraines, and that really doesn't mean very much except that you have a lifetime of migraines and then it manifests in other side issues. So mine were periodic encephalitis, which is swelling of the brain, a stroke when I was a teenager. Then, obviously, from the childhood issues, various organs started malfunctioning in my 20s. And then in 2015, I had a massive head injury. So, all along the way, I just had to learn how to make life livable as an academic and somebody who was always research focused. Then I was highly motivated to be my brain healthy best all through the medical difficulties. And so finally, as it says in my bio, in 2018, a couple of months into the head injury, it was quite severe, and the doctors had no good news to share. And so then I came out of that appointment. I said, okay, I'm going to fix what I can myself and go from there. So I enrolled in the Amen Clinics brain health consultancy program and healed myself, continued to work with a team of doctors, and I'm thriving more than ever. So that's amazing. I love to share.
Yeah, your very own, your very own walking miracle, I guess. Like that's pretty incredible. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, absolutely. We like to start with the basics here, Marie, at Beyond the Steps, especially when we are venturing into territory that Bree and I know very little about, and probably our viewers know very little about. So I want you to start with specifically talking about giving us a layman's description. And this is probably like, you're like, oh my gosh, it's such a loaded question. What's brain health? What is brain health, and what does it mean?
Absolutely. That's a fantastic question. So, brain health addresses functionality across several areas. I'll list four primary ones with which people will be most familiar and can recognize most easily in their lives and the lives of their loved ones. The first is cognition. So, how well can you remember, think, or learn? The second is mobility and motor skills. How well can you make and control movements? And as y'all know better than everybody, balance certainly is a huge component of that. Then there's emotion. How well can you interpret and respond to enjoyable and unenjoyable emotions? And then the fourth one that is, again, most easily identifiable is tactile function. So how well can you feel and respond to tactile sensations such as pain, temperature, and pressure? So if all of those things are running smoothly, then your brain is healthy.
Huh. Okay, so here we go. Tangent. So you just named these four things, and I can honestly say I probably don't know anybody where all four of those things are running optimally. And I'm going through the list of people in my brain. I'm like, yep, nope, not checking that box. And I know I'm missing probably a good 2 to 2.5 of the four myself. So is the goal, I mean, I guess the goal is to be 100% optimal in all four areas, but is that actually really an attainable goal?
Absolutely. And I will say too that what is most rewarding about studying brain sciences in modern times is that things are fixable and we have answers and everyday solutions that we can see, with which we can see results within several weeks right away. So, however, I mean, and as we've said, I'm living testament to the fact that you can live through severe episodes and recover from those. But if you just want to get better, you can do it all the time. Start right now and start to see a difference.
Wow. So I know that we have seen on these a lot of ads on social media and on TV, this neuroplasticity. You should play these brain games and you should work on your neuroplasticity. And a lot of times it's focused toward older people. And I'm like, well, I can't play half these games that are out there. And I would definitely not be in that demographic. But is neuroplasticity related to brain health? Is my first question. And if they are those terms interchangeable?
That's a great question. So first, neuroplasticity, and frankly, the term is misused often because I think the easiest synonym, certainly understandable in the dance community, is the term flexibility. What does it mean if you say that I'm flexible? Can I bend over and touch my toes without bending my knees? Am I flexible because if you change the schedule last minute, I'm okay with that? Flexibility is a broad term that needs specificity to have true meaning. And the same is with neuroplasticity. So at base, it is our nervous system's ability to change activity on any level in response to stimuli by reorganizing. And so to dial out a little bit further, the nervous system is sent calm, originating in our brain. It controls movement, thoughts, automatic responses to the world around us, as well as other processes such as digestion, puberty, and breathing. And so those nerve cells, those neurons, the building blocks, they are what change and adjust when we are discussing neuroplasticity. So the ability for any nerve cells to change and adjust based upon various stimuli.
So, what are some lifestyle factors that contribute to brain health, like in just our normal existence in the day-to-day world? I mean, is it silly to say like pollution affects brain health, or your anything about your environment or the people you surround yourself with? How does that work?
Absolutely, so many things. I mean, and this is something that I always say as well, is that everything affects brain health. I mean, because as we interact with our environment, as you say, certainly environmental factors come into play, and there's only so much we can do to counteract that. But there are a lot of choices, autonomous choices that we can make, such as movement, I mean, oxygenation through blood flow, cross-body movement. Dance is one of the brain healthiest activities in which we can engage our entire life. When you're talking about young people developing motor skills all the way to longevity, octogenarians and nonagenarians in these modern times trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle, then a dance-based movement is incredibly beneficial. As you said, eating habits, I mean, food allergies and sensitivities, those can cause brain fog or any other number of side effects that affect our brain's functionality. So identify what your young people are allergic to or what you are. And when you find those trigger points, it's astounding how your quality of life improves. So two very basic things: sleep hygiene. I mean, that seems quite basic, and it also seems hard to do, but when you see the difference it makes in your children and in you, and people need more than 8 hours sometimes. I mean, not all of us can just get by on 8 hours. So find what works right for you and your family and make those decisions. And the last two big things I'll say: physical and emotional safety. I mean, as parents, then we can control that for our young people within our purview. And then healthy social interactions and engagement are also crucial for cerebral health throughout life.
Yeah, and that makes sense. If you're just joining, we're chatting with Marie Morgann today about the role of brain health and the role of brain health in the development of youth performance athletes. There we go. This is something that we've never explored here on Beyond the Steps. This is Beyond the Steps. We're going to talk about all the issues that are affecting performance athletes today, from racism, gender inequity, sex abuse and prevention, nutrition, psychology, dance, medicine, and science. We cover it all. I'm Bree Zabrowski, and I'm here with Melissa McDaniel Grisham. And again, we're chatting with Marie Morgann today. I want to go into the next segment and talk about what are the warning signs or symptoms that indicate a decline in brain health, whether that be in youth or adults for that matter. Are they different?
So, I mean, as you say, depending on the developmental scale, sometimes they're more obvious than others. And truthfully, so many of us, because we have not identified some of these basic things, such as nutritional choices, or we don't move enough in the day, or we don't recognize that we need those fulfilling relationships to have optimal brain health, then there are things that can go undetected for a long time. Simply not feeling well, not being able to remember where we put something or why we left a room. I mean, those indicators. But then when you're working with young people, things such as difficulties with language learning and development and reading, vision and hearing impairment, abnormal delayed movement milestones. For everybody, difficulty sleeping, headaches and stomach aches. More and more material is becoming available for the gut-brain connection. They're closely intertwined because of the nervous system. If your young people are frequently, or if you are frequently angry or irritable, take a look at that. Once you start to eliminate possibilities, so as I said, food sensitivity, get enough sleep, if everybody is getting proper nutrition, and there's not bullying going on at school, if you've ruled out all of those things for which you can control, and there are still some outliers that swings in appetite, concentration difficulties, then go to your doctor, share your concerns, and then you can start looking at what some of those options are.
Mm-hmm.
I do have two questions. So one question is, when you start seeing some of these things that you're describing are very common, they don't happen every day, but we all experience them from one time to another, forgetting where we put our keys, or, we're just overly stressed or whatever. But if you're seeing consistent signs of decline, especially in young people, is there a way to improve that? Like, is it, once it starts declining, is it declining forever, or is it, there's a way to improve? Does it get better or get worse all the time?
Absolutely. That's a fantastic question. And now we can say neurogenesis can happen throughout life. Synaptogenesis, certainly. So generating neural connectors. And then, I mean, when it is not typical for brain cells to die, certainly not before an 80-year-old lifespan. So something is happening to trigger that. And that's why once you've ruled out all the baseline environmental, nutritional, emotional needs, and then you go to your physicians to start choosing and eliminating larger things. I mean, epilepsy, malformations, cancer, things nobody wants to think about. But once you've eliminated those things, then absolutely through consistent practice of supplementation, meditation, any of those other brain healthy extras for supreme cerebral health, then absolutely you can change the outcome.
So then how much, this is my second question. So then how much of declining brain health is genetic versus environmental? Because I know like my husband's side of the family, my side of the family is like chronic illnesses, right? Like that was what runs in my side of the family. And then on my husband's side, it seems to be more, dementia and Alzheimer's and things of that nature. So when you're talking about a decline in brain health, how much of that is genetic? And then how much of it can you fight? And then when do genetics come into play? Like obviously with youth, it's a lot harder to see those things when they're younger. At what point is that really a factor?
That's another great question. In fact, Melissa and I were just having this conversation at lunch the other day. So what we have learned, again, within the past several decades of, longevity science, full stop, but certainly pertinent to brain health, is that we have the option through lifestyle choices, nutritional, movement-based, other factors that we've already discussed and can continue to do so. We can choose whether or not we turn on those specific genetic markers in our body. So we do not necessarily, it's going to take more work than it would for the layperson who does not have the predisposition, but it's absolutely possible. And so when you make excellent choices, focus on full bodily health, brain health, then you do not have to give into what's affected your family for decades.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that, people are like, oh, it's in my family. And yes, there are, trust me, I know there are things in everyone's family that are passed down. And when Marie and I were talking, like when we did go to lunch a week ago or so, we were talking about the connection between what happens during gestation in the mother's body and how those hormones and things are passed on to the child during brain development. So yes, you do come with predisposition, and yes, you can turn those markers on and off, but you can also, if you have those markers have been turned on, you can also do things to help manage what is happening in your body now that those genetic markers have been turned on. So discuss the role, Marie, of nutrition, because we already talked about the brain gut connection, and that is huge. Marie, let me tell you, everyone out there, Marie is like the nutrition. She knows everything that's in any label. She knows exactly what's made of. She is an organic only.
Well, and the reality is, like, what we've learned is that food is medicine, right? Like food is medicine, and it's something that we really, I think, undervalue in this country as far like we just don't, maybe we know it, but it's one of those things that we know, but we do things in spite of it, right? Like we know better, we just don't always do better. But the reality is it's been shown over and over and over that like what we're consuming and putting in our bodies can have a drastic effect on disease and chronic illness. And Marie would love for you to weigh in on that. Oh, I think she's frozen.
It's frozen.
Okay. There, she's back.
Okay.
I can hear you now.
Did you hear my question?
For the past minute and a half, it's been totally silent.
Oh no. Okay. So Melissa was saying that talk about the role of nutrition because we know that food is medicine. So talk about the role of nutrition in maintaining optimal brain health, because we know historically, and what we're learning from the show all the time, is that what you put into your body can fight chronic illness. It can do all kinds of things to reverse all kinds of processes going on in your body. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes, definitely. There are some specific foods that are excellent for brain health, and that is because they provide different vitamins and minerals that perform different roles. So whether that helps to fight free radicals and oxidation, or whether because it helps to dilate blood vessels, or it promotes blood flow. So those foods include dark leafy greens and cruciferous vegetables. So things like dark kale, iceberg lettuce is not going to cut it. That's just water and cellulose. But the arugula and spinach, the cruciferous vegetables that include things such as broccoli and cauliflower, cabbage. Any foods that are dark blue or purple indicate the presence of antioxidants that have specifically anthocyanins that are excellent for brain health. So blueberries, red cabbage, red onions, anything within that spectrum will help brain functionality, as well as, just you're building for the future. You are literally building quality cells. Other things, getting enough proper protein with omega-3s, salmon. Sometimes you have to, for iron, because iron deficiency also affects brain health naturally. As a lot of us know, if you have spinach, then the type of iron that offers, you have to take vitamin C with it so that your body can absorb it. So dark leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, those deep purple foods, berries holistically offer a lot of antioxidants, and and avocados, those are excellent for brain health. So all of those, sweet potatoes, they're also fantastic. So you can find ways to prepare those for your young people. So, sneak a little bit of spinach into a blueberry smoothie. Don't use processed sugar. Cane sugar literally breaks down cells and certainly affects children behaviorally, and adults. Choose healthy sweeteners such as honey or coconut palm sugar. Throw in as much of those positive things that you can slip into your child's diet, and within several weeks, you will, I would say 3 to 6 weeks, you will start to see a difference.
Wow. I want to, before we move on to the next segment, I do want to go back and just lift up something that Marie did talk about, how, a healthy environment, healthy social connections, a safe and protected environment is also essential to brain health. And this just kind of will probably like pull this out for a future show. But we talk a lot about creating an environment in our youth performance education spaces that allows for students to feel safe and protected, and therefore they're there with educators that are safe for them. And that is key to optimal brain health, which is of course then key to optimal performance. Like I said, that's probably a future show that we can pull out there. But I did want to make that connection to just some of the past shows that we've done here on Beyond the Steps. This is Beyond the Steps, and we do still have a good amount of show left. But if you do want to watch the show from the beginning, you can find the full episode on YouTube at TP Dance Creations or at Apollo Performance, and on Facebook as well. Please like, share, subscribe so you know when we have future episodes. Make sure that this episode is shared among your friends and colleagues, because this is a new topic and it's one that's extremely important, and we're learning a great deal from Marie today. So specific strategies for parents, for coaches, for educators, specific strategies or techniques that promote brain health in children and adolescents. Do you have any of those? Those little game things work. Like what are a couple of techniques that you would use regularly to promote brain health?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the most important thing, and again, what I love so much about the fact that this is a dance-centered podcast, is movement, movement, movement. I mean, get your young people moving and have them put down the phone, have them connect with reality, because not only are we then generating proteins that construct neural connectors, but also building emotional resilience and strength, a key component. And I love what you just said too about the safety issue. When children do not feel safe, it triggers the most primitive portions of our brain, and the higher order tasks, those portions.
Uh-oh.
We keep losing Marie.
Yeah, for those just joining, this is Beyond the Steps. I'm Bree Zabrowski with Melissa McDaniel, and this is the podcast where we talk about all things related to performance athletes and how to help performance athletes, from nutrition, psychology, racism, gender and equity, sex abuse and prevention, and of course, dance, medicine, and science. We're chatting with Marie Morgann today about the role of brain health on the development of our youth performance athletes. And Marie, we're having a little bit of connectivity issues today, but Marie was just talking about specific stages or strategies and techniques to promote brain health in children and adolescents. So Marie, go ahead and continue.
Okay. So sorry, we're having connectivity
Oh,
difficulties.
You're good.
But so as I said, okay. So as I said previously, movement, absolutely. A crucial component of lifelong brain health is meaningful interaction with others. And part of that is because not only do we generate happy chemicals, which obviously do good things for our brain, but also because novelty is an essential component for the generation of the chemicals that help us to produce neural connectors or synapses. So having meaningful social interactions with somebody who's your friend, I mean, no matter how well you know somebody, you don't know what's going to come out of their mouth next. And that basic setting triggers a healthy setting within our brains for continued growth. As I said, sleep hygiene is crucial. It's definitively underserved, certainly in Western environments and societies, but if your child needs 10 hours of sleep a night, arrange the family schedule around that. And then enjoy the difference of familial enjoyability just from that small change. We've spoken a lot about nutrition, the interactive component, and then certainly, children's brains have human brains have physically changed with the arrival of so much technology. And so the more we can continue to develop their ability to attend and focus more than the split second little screens that they get, the healthier their brains will be as well.
That's great to know.
Yes, and that is true. I see it every single day in working with children, for sure. So we talked a little bit about how this is a new frontier, to use our Star Trek references. So this is a new frontier of medical intervention or treatment. And just as anything, like you said, with the little boxes that we have in front of our face and all this access that we have to information, some of it which is total malarkey, there has to be a ton of misinformation, some of it even probably harmful out there. So are there any trusted sources that you suggest for people to use to learn more and to learn how to maintain optimal brain health?
Absolutely. I mean, so I chose to be certified with the Amen clinics because after a lifetime of working with different teams of brain-centered professionals, not only did his findings and discussions consistently reinforce what had worked for me or what I knew to be true, but also because he continues to affect public change in a positive way. So anything that Dr. Daniel Amen's clinic puts out is good news. In terms of other resources, obviously, that, as you say, they're myriad. On my website, I have a page specifically for resources. I have a long list of links or other books to which I refer regularly, some of which are new, some of which have been around for a very long time. And so people who would like to dive deeper, some people really are interested in neuroscience. And so you can follow Twitter threads for different neurology alliances or medical institutions. But yes, I have a long list of resources besides, as I say, any of the tons of books or the website and blogs that Dr. Amen offers for pediatric through old age brain health care.
Mm. So, and we're looking for people who have certifications and things like this, right? Not just the YouTube certifications necessarily, but people who actually have worked in this have worked in this area and learned a few things here and there. So make sure that you check out Marie's website to be able to find some of those resources. We are going to move to homework. I'm not sure if we can see. There she is. So we are going to move to homework. So Marie, this is your first time with us. I'm sure you've watched a couple of shows, but we give homework every single week. We ask our guests to take on one simple thing and give it to our viewers that they can do between now and our next show, which is 7 days from now. Actually, this is the show before hiatus, so it's actually 4 weeks or 8 weeks from now. But one small thing that they can do in the next 7 days to be able to make progress in this area or to learn more or whatever it is. So what's your homework for our viewers today?
Okay, so I would say choose a brain healthy food and find a way to integrate it into at least one meal a day for your family. And then step 2, at least every hour, make certain that you and your young people are moving. So if you're binge watching a show, after 30 to 45 minutes, get up, go fix some popcorn, whatever you're doing, move your body, because that will instantly halt deleterious processes that begin once we are excessively sedentary.
Okay. Move your body.
So that's why your Apple Watch tells you every hour, get up, time to stand up. You know, you got to get up and move. Yeah. Okay, yeah. That makes sense.
Time to sit up. Sometimes I will have stood up and mine will tell me, I'm like, I stood up. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I have been up. Watch. Don't give me my credit. I've been up.
Or sometimes it doesn't, I ignore it because I'm like, I can't stand up right now, and I'm like, 2 hours later, it'll be like, you did it. Yay.
You moved in the last 2 hours. Yay. It's like, okay, I feel really bad because my watch is applauding me for
I know
it's the last 3 hours. Yeah. I should be doing way better. So you have your homework from Marie. We also have homework. We have the STEPS initiative that has been out there for 3 years now. Is actually the foundation of this whole Beyond the Steps series. It's a module series that has professionally led modules on racism, equity, sex abuse and prevention, nutrition, psychology, and of course, dance, medicine, and science. These are totally free modules. So if you're looking to start your education in any or all of those areas, please go take the STEPS initiative. It is 100% free. Marie, how can people get in touch with you? Because you do consultancy in this area and you have a lot of resources on your website.
I do, absolutely. So thank you for posting my website. That's the primary resource. I post frequently on Instagram, regular segments as well, but the link to that is through my website. If you search either my name, Marie Morgann, or C'est La Vie, honey, then that will pop up on Instagram as well. But definitely, I would love to continue this conversation at any time.
And you do virtual consults for people?
Primarily for education purposes, yes. So if they message me through the website, then we can discuss whether or not that would work for us.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marie, for being here and discussing this with us. I think we have a lot of spin-off topic ideas for season 4, so we're excited for you to come to all of you out there. Thank you so much for watching and being part of our 3rd season of Beyond the Steps. It has been an absolute blast. We've learned, as usual, so much throughout the season. We've had some fantastic conversations, even more fantastic guests. Melissa, it is always a pleasure to do this work for you with you. We have put together already episodes to kick off season 4. We're excited to come back bigger and better than ever. That podcast is coming. The Beyond the Steps podcast is coming. If we could ever get our life together and stop making things so chaotic, we will get it out. We are going to get it out. It is coming. So stay tuned for that. And we hope you join us next season. In the meantime, you have lots of homework from season 13 that you can be working on and putting into practice. We hope you too. You hope you do. And until then, take care of yourselves. We hope you continue your journey beyond the steps. And we'll see you very soon. Take care, everybody.